reason that we're here and that we've come together today is really to address this issue about the respect for the final resting places of First Nations people. So First Nations in this area, Coast Salish and Strait Salish, buried our dead in cairns on islets like Grace Islet. So that is a traditional way of burial, and so these are sacred places to the First Nations people. And the conflicts that are here is really when development is proposed to occur in these places where there is sacred burial places. So we've seen this occurring in other regions of the province. In fact, here in our territory, we've had an ongoing issue with developers, and currently developers have to get permits from the government because we have the Heritage Conservation Act here in British Columbia, which purports to protect these places. But really that protection is more in terms of what is viewed as the scientific value and not really the cultural values. So the Heritage Conservation branch looks at the scientific nature, and they say, well, as in the case here, where if we can build a house on stilts, then we're not impacting the burial cairns. Therefore, that would be okay. And they lose the significance of the cultural nature of this and the sacredness. So amongst Coast Salish people, our connection to our ancestors is a very central part of the culture. And so it's a deeply cultural issue that we're dealing with, not only in terms of just morality, but in terms of cultural beliefs. The belief is that if we disturb the ancestors, that awakens their spirits. And once their spirits are awakened, that it can put the living people in danger. And so there is this deeply spiritual belief, and so just as in European culture, particularly with Christianity, there is a lot of beliefs, spiritual beliefs, and those spiritual beliefs impact the laws. And so we have, as I was saying earlier, we have, for example, the Cemetery Act. The province of British Columbia felt that it was necessary to pass the Cemetery Act. And I would say that the reason that they did that was not just because it would be a nice thing to do, but because, or even because it was, desirable to have all the dead in one location. I think that there probably is, this spirituality piece to it, this, this sacredness piece to it. And people who have their ancestors buried there look at it in that way. So I think that those kind of issues, we can see that First Nations are saying, well, we deserve the same respect, we deserve the same treatment, we want the same treatment, we want equal treatment, and this is really what we're here today to try and encourage, and trying to get support from non-First Nations people to say, yes, we agree, and we understand. This issue is important to you, and it should be important to us, because we're all living here on this land together, and we need to have respect for each other's cultures, and we need to be able to find a way to live together in a peaceful way rather than a conflicting way. And so individuals like the owner of this particular land, who doesn't appear to feel that it's important to respect the First Nations people, doesn't feel that it's important to respect their culture, and feels that, well, if I've gone to the archaeological branch and they've approved this permit that says, well, you can build your house there, and as long as you don't directly impact the cairns and build it on stilts, then it's okay. Well, I think that's missing the point. It's really missing the point in terms of the cultural aspect.